to integrate those fragments of ourselves so that we're able to have that pure intention, because manifestation is very important to have a focused intent that's not split in any way, shape, or form. It's very direct and full faith. You have to fully believe, visualize yourself, in that beautiful home that you want, or visualize yourself, as fully walking your path, and everything that you want, all the friendships, connections, relationships. Just visualize those things. And if they're not coming true, there's some sort of split usually. There's something, there may be a fear, there may be a subconscious fear that happening, which creates resistance in your vibrational frequency. So you're not able to get that manifestation effect that you desire. And generally, the cleaner your thoughts are, the less distractions there are, the more focused you are on your path, on raising your frequency, on walking your divine path, your ascension timeline, the easier it becomes to manifest. There's less distractions, there's less intrusive thoughts. So the more you focus on walking your divinity path, the easier manifestation becomes, until how many people have had experiences where they think of something and the next day it happens, or the next hour, or instantly.
Yes, it happens, yes. That's a living moment.
And it just becomes quicker and quicker, and the more you focus on it, the more you practice it, the more you cleanse all the impurities, all the energies which limit you, all the self-doubts, all the self-limiting beliefs, the more you're able to allow that divine love to grace you and to receive everything that you desire and everything that you want. So we also have to integrate all different dimensional aspects of ourselves, because a lot of times the soul itself is fragmented, or there's certain lifetimes can bring about, if there's such a great emotional charge, a part of your soul can kind of get stuck there, or that lifetime can bleed through into this lifetime, and then a lot of confusion happens. So we basically have to integrate all aspects of ourselves, and we can do that through intention. Say, I, in this ever-present moment, choose to integrate all aspects of myself and my soul. I collect back all pieces of my soul and higher source self in this present moment, anchor it into your reality, and just feel the energy, feel how much more complete you feel. It may not happen instantly, you kind of have to keep practicing, because we talked earlier that the more focus you have, the clearer you are, the easier it is to manifest. So, and the easier it is to keep your energy clean and your frequency high. So it's just the more dedicated you are, focused you are on walking your divinity path, the easier it is to manifest. And when there's no resistance, we allow the love of the Creator to make our lives better. And as far, how much time do we have? So, I wanted to also speak about healing, because that's one way to remove those obstacles, to remove those blockages in a loving way. And my healing journey began soon after that spontaneous activation that I had. I went to Bulgaria, and like I said, I was completely atheist. And I went to this healer who somehow, I was wearing a long sleeve shirt, and he somehow knew that I had a broken arm. I've never met this person or spoken to him, at least in 3D reality. And he somehow knew that I had broken arm. He's like, "You've developed a crack in your already broken arm," because I knew like exactly how I had done it, because I was lifting things, and it's just, I guess I have metal in my body, so it's kind of it's easy to disturb all the surrounding tissues. So he knew that, and that to me, like, that was an activation. And I've had many more experiences such as that one since then. Nowadays that's just the norm. So that was kind of like the beginning of my journey, and then basically at one point I had an activation where I started seeing this purple light, and it was like a purple violet wavy cloud-like substance above me. I thought I was going crazy. And then I looked outside, and there was just more of it, different colors, like green, yellow. There's just like streaks, going through the air.
Kind of looks like a big lava lamp.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like. And at that point, I didn't know what to think of that experience, but I actually read about it in this book. It was a channeling by this Bulgarian channel. And in that book, it describes having that exact same experience, and that energy, that violet purple energy, was actually Mother Mary. And it just clicked in my head, because at the time I was praying a lot to Mother Mary. I was bringing about that frequency in my field. So it just clicked for me, like, oh, okay, like I was seeing another aspect of reality, just slightly off the visible 3D spectrum. So it's more and more experiences like that, and eventually I realized that I can remove thought forms from people and mental models and entities, because whenever I would interact with somebody and I would feel something was attacking me or something was putting thoughts in my head, I would just be like, no, like, go away. And it would disappear. It would disappear. And eventually I realized that you're not supposed to do that, because that's, unless you have explicit consent from the other person. You can say prayers, but I felt that by doing that, I was by interfering with something just because it wasn't to my liking. I was interfering with that other person's energy field, which creates cause and effect and karma. So I stopped doing that, and actually, like, when I did do that, whenever I did pull out models from people or energies, I would notice, like, they would usually come back, because that model, that thought form, that model is there for a reason. It's usually the person's habit patterns. It's the way they think. Those thoughts that we have to cleanse, purify. It was those, it's those that are also blocking us and bringing about, opening the door for other entities or other beings to basically come in and take over ourselves. And that's how demonic possession happens, because we just angry, say we're at work and like we're angry at our boss, or like something, we're stressed out, and we just create that stress and stress and stress, and it builds up within our aura, and that just brings about all sorts of, because like attracts like, vibrationally speaking. So, we bring about all of these negative energies, entities, and so basically, in a way, you could look at those things as partially. It really depends on the situation, but you could say that they're that person's manifestations. So unless those thought patterns, the stress thought patterns, the fear thought patterns, unless they're corrected, we can't just go around pulling things from people. We have to, that person has to be mindful. That person has to be mindful of their energy and of what they do and what they are doing to themselves and to others. Clear the mind, clear the energy field. Have love for every living creature, every sentient being, and that's what basically aligns us with that healthy vitality and that not there's a point where like the entities can't even latch onto you. Vibrate so high you can't they can't even come near you. So the light body, we can see that as our aura. It holds the living light code of our blueprint structure, and it maintains the connection with our higher self or source. So there's different layers of the light body. There's many different chakra systems. There's many different classifications of how many different bodies we have. Generally, there's 7, all related to according to the standard chakra model. And each one of those vibrates higher and higher and higher in frequency. And Angela talked about this, the different layers of the body. So when we do healing, like it could be on different layers. Like it could be, it could be emotional trauma from, say, a breakup, and it could be on the emotional level. So as healers, we have to be conscious of where that trauma is. It could be mental, it just could be a lot of mental clutter. It could be from a past life, ancestral karma. It could be so many different things. It could be an entity cutting off our connection from source, cutting us off at only being able to utilize the first 3 chakras, so that we're stuck in 3D. There's no heart connection, there's no love, there's no connection to the astral body. So we have to, as healers, we have to begin, obviously, with the desire to heal. And like I said earlier, the stronger your faith is, the more powerful, the more potent the healing will be. So usually when I do healings, I ask my internal guidance first and always. I ask my connection to source to guide and flow through me, so that I can be of the greatest possible service to that person, so I can truly help them, not in the way that I think would help them, but in the way, from an objective perspective, objective reality point of view, will actually help them ascend and walk towards expansion. So once that intention is set, usually, of course, you'll be guided to where to place your hands. You know, you can experience warmth. Usually, a lot of times you've noticed, like, you put your hands over over a certain place, over somebody's body, and later they'll tell you, like, oh yeah, I was injured there. That will just serve as more confirmation that, you know, you are correct, or that the divine channel flowing through you is, that you allowed to heal that person is actually successful. So, emotional, you know, we talked about all the different traumas. Emotional traumas are deep energetic wounds, and like they can open the pathway for various parasites, various entities. There's all sorts of programming, mental clutter, programming from TV, from all sorts of, you know, you go anywhere, you turn on the TV, you walk down the street, like you can notice the programming.
Too much Netflix.
Exactly.
Sorry to ruin it.
So we've all picked up these programs, and you know, regardless of whether the source is coming from, whether it's from you know, negative alien agendas, and like that could be one potential source. Since there's so many different species that are like actively visiting and kind of fighting over Earth and for domination and control of Earth, because we're that powerful and that important as souls, so they just want to keep us trapped. So we have to remove those attachments, we have to cut those cords, we have to send that healing energy throughout the universe, because you know, we're not just one with everybody on the planet, we're one with all the different galaxies, you know, all the different beings. So a lot of times something I've noticed is sometimes a person will have like a cocoon around their energy field, and I've traced it back to certain like alien groups, sometimes like negatively oriented greys, and like I'll just put my intention into it to for that to be cleared, and I'll see the cocoon lifting off that person's body. Obviously, we talked about removing entities, severing the cords between people. And usually when you remove them, there's lots of different techniques. Probably my favorite one that I use for the more serious entities, the ones that are not easily put off balance, is I like to open a portal directly to source and throw them in it, to the galactic central sun, and for disintegration or recyclement. Or
I mean, you what you meant is you don't throw them and you just invite them, right?
That was nice.
Come into my parlor.
And you can also open the door to the center of the earth and allow them to continue on their journey. So another thing about healing is I've noticed, like, even I've caught myself doing this when somebody's, like, say somebody has a broken arm, and you know, they're like, oh my God, it hurts, it's so bad, and you go up to them and you sympathize with them, you're like, oh my God, that's horrible, like, I hope it heals. But really, like, that's just furthering that thought form, that model of that trauma. Instead, you can visualize the arm being healthy, you know, that person's energy body healing, you know, all that person's body's healing them, you know, all their divine team, galactic team healing them. So that's one way manifestation can be used for healing. And one thing you notice when you walk along your divinity path or path as a healer is many different kundalini awakenings, which basically your vital life force energy that will go up from the base of your spine and up through your skull until it eventually connects to cosmic consciousness. So those, whenever you have an experience like that, cherish it, treasure it, remember what it feels like, and then so you can bring it about naturally, you know, through meditation, through healing, Reiki, or whatever healing, you know, divinity, source healing, whatever healing modality that you practice. 'Cause it's all, you know, it's all life force energy that we are all made of, that is intelligent and is healing us. And one thing that to kind of unify all of this, and as a reminder, is that the law of one, which there's many different channelings that describe the law of one. We're all coexist simultaneously, and on, you know, all the different realities eventually merge back to source, infinite expansive intelligence. And that's, I mean, me saying that is not, I mean, you can't really put a label on it, but it's the law of one that truly enables a lot of these things, a lot of these activations to happen, and having that intention to, you know, even if you're stressed out at work, you know, even if you're, you know, not feeling well, you know, if you don't like somebody, just remember, bring it back to that awareness that we're all one, and them suffering is actually you suffering. So let's end the suffering.
Exactly. Absolutely. Thank
Thank
you.
you.